And T-Mobile does too. Thank you, guys. Well, it is 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And Mr. Storm, would you please call the roll?
Happily. Mr. Babcock.
Here.
Ms. Sweet.
Here.
Mr. Bear.
Here.
Mr. Whitaker.
Here.
Mr. Avery.
Here.
Mr. Hannah.
So we do have a quorum of council, and would you please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And good evening, everyone. This is October 10th, 2023. This is the regular session of the Enon Village Council. And do we have any additions to our agenda this evening?
Guess I'd like to make a motion to officially excuse Rick Hannah from the meeting.
I'll second. Second.
So it was moved by Mr. Babcock and
Mr. Whitaker. Mr. Avery.
Mr. Avery will be the second one. Okay. And if you
Babcock.
Yes.
Ms. Sweet.
Yes.
Mr. Bear.
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker.
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
That motion is approved. Let's go into the minutes of the Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. If the council has had a chance to look at those and there are no corrections, I would entertain a motion and a second to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Babcock.
Yes.
Ms. Sweet.
Yes.
Mr. Bear.
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker.
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
All right, and those minutes are approved as presented. We'll go into finances, and again, Rob, welcome, and it is with great pleasure that I can turn this part over to you. So,
Thank you
Good
very
evening.
much. Unfortunately, I do not have printed reports for you yet. Still getting access to everything I need with UAN and with the banks, but I did get our bank statement yesterday. All of our account balances are in good order. UAN will actually be on site tomorrow to get me all set up, and then we should be good to go then. So you'll have a double whammy at our next meeting.
good deal.
Thus endeth my report.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thanks. If you need anything, let us know.
Thank you.
I do have a couple items of communication, and they are both very positive. I received an email from a couple residents, 650 Brunswick Drive, and this was to the council and to the staff. It says, "We want to thank you for the recent updates at Enon Park. We walk our dog there frequently and really enjoy the new trails. Since they run along the tree line, they offer shade in the summer and hopefully protection from the wind in the winter. Thank you for all the ways you enhance the lives of the citizens in Enon." And this is from Kathy and Harold Brown. So good job to everybody on that walking path. Also, I did receive a verbal compliment the other day for our police department. And Chief, thank you for your efforts of helping a resident in the Spring Lake condos deal with the situation. And that was much appreciated. And one of the parents did ask me to pass that along. So it is appreciated. And thanks for doing whatever you did. So,
Thank you.
And that is all I had. Any communications from other council members? All right, let's turn it over to our administrator for staff reports. Kevin, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. First item there, the road project update. Asphalt work is complete. They are continuing the dirt work and the seeding and storing will be beginning later this week, hopefully, along with the signage and striping of the asphalt. They are hoping to open the road late next week. I got word from Paul this afternoon. So late next week, hopefully the road will be open and ready for
Is there a
business.
date that an actual day that they're thinking?
He
Kevin?
didn't give me a date as of today, no.
Okay.
But he said late next week, so.
Okay.
So that's the reason it's not open in front of the school, even with nobody there. I've had 6 or 7 people ask me, the road's done, it's striped. Why now are we closing it again? Can't drive through?
They do still have to work on the corner of Green Vista. There's a catch basin there that they have to do some work. It's off the road, but there will be a crew in there probably yet this week to kind of work on that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the asphalt's done, and actually I drove down through there today, and it's pretty smooth. So I had my four-way flashers on.
They're just frustrated because nobody was down there like at night.
Right.
And yeah,
So
I said, I get it. I hate driving through the neighborhood too.
yeah.
And it is a county road. We have to keep that in mind, so they can control when it's open and all that kind of stuff. And I did notice today that they're doing some work around some of those manholes. Kevin,
Yeah, they had some
so they had
sealing inside the manholes
Gotcha.
to do on a couple of them yet. So.
Okay, so they had some traffic control
Yeah.
guys out
Yeah.
there or whatever. So, okay, all right.
Hydrant flushing is completed. All went well. There were I think 3 that needed repaired, so we got them all repaired as of now. But everything went well. I didn't get too many calls coming in from discolored water. So
Good deal.
So now we're back on the GIS project, going around and trying to get that finished up. I don't know the status of how many we've got left. They're going around to the water meters and so we can get that data inputted basically over the winter, fall and winter on the computer program. So then we'll know where the water meters are at. It's going to be a lot easier for future of finding them and things. So. BZA, BZA met on September 27th to finish out the original meeting on the 18th. There was, I think, 3 variance requests that the BZA members wanted to go out on site and kind of look at firsthand, just to help better understand what the requests were. But they did, we all met out there, got all the questions answered. The owner of the property was there. This is for the Enon Brewery over here on 160 North Xenia. Then we came back here and finished out the meeting. The BZA requested the 25-foot variance on both Xenia Street and Harrison Street, where the new building is going to sit. They asked for a setback variance on that, so they requested that. The next was a couple issues were parking. Discussed the size of the parking spaces. The owner wanted to reduce the spaces down to 9 foot by 18 foot, and there was 2 spaces that the committee recommended to get rid of. The one on each side, it'd be the southeast corner and the northeast corner. They were too close to the lot lines, people turning in at that radius. So they asked to remove those 2 spaces. The owner went along with it, so they granted that. And they requested that the spaces be 10 foot by 18 instead of 9 by 18. They were kind of in question about car doors opening against each other, things like that. So for a total of 13 spaces instead of 15. And then there's going to be 8 spaces in the gravel instead of 9 as presented. So, and there also the gravel is going to be on that gravel grid system that kind of holds in the gravel.
Did he have a sample there of that by any chance?
He did not. He just had the picture of
That's
it.
fine.
So.
I was just curious.
So BZA approved those 3, so he's moving forward. I see that he's starting to demo inside a little bit. I come by tonight, he had some junk out there that was going to be, he had a sign on there that says remove, I guess, for the trash guys. So that's proceeding right along. So.
And I do want to thank the work of the BZA members. That was a challenging case for the village. I think they did a really nice job. Elmer, pass along my appreciation to everyone. They took their time. They did, in my opinion, the right thing. Looked at all the different aspects of that particular project to make sure that whatever he does there is going to be safe, and from a practical standpoint, it's going to be usable. People are going to be able to use it. So good job.
Yeah, and it was it was, I think, well worth it for the committee going out there and kind of taking a look just to kind of get the whole gist
Absolutely.
of things. And I think after a discussion with Elmer, the following couple days after that, I think we're going to kind of, as cases come in for the BZA, when myself, or Christie or, Elmer, if we get a hold of him, doesn't feel like we can really see what's going on paper on the request, then we're going to make it a point to go out there first, and that way all the questions are answered. It just kind of makes it go smoother. So, and that won't happen on every case, but it'll be on a case-by-case basis. So, Apple Butterfest is approaching. We did talk to, I did talk to Tim DeVore, and just to kind of get some final information, final touches done. Talked to Doug today, and we've got all the barricades they need and signs. We're going to be putting those out on Thursday during the day on the corners. You have, and I don't know if I give this to you last time or not. It's dated October 5th, but you have in your packet the letters that we hand delivered to the area residents there that's going to be affected by the closures in one way. So we'll be putting those signs and barricades out on those one-way and those road closures on Thursday, and then Tim said that they'll get them out on Friday, put them up. So
Good deal.
we will be getting the 9 concrete barricades for the north end. The south end, we're going to have barrels, and we're going to put our big dump truck in the center there, have it all shined up and things like that. So. Letters, BZA. Just to let you know, we had a little accident with the F-250 today. Doug and Jamie were in the F-250. Nobody got hurt, except the mirror on the truck in the back window of the truck. They were over here on Fowler Road, and a camper was coming up, and they just met at the same time. Mirrors hit, broke our mirror completely off, and the back glass in the back window in the F-250 shattered out. On the camper, it was just her mirror, that the glass in her mirror was broken. Nothing else was damaged on the camper. So naturally called the sheriff out, and he filled out a report, did all the post-accident processes, and everything's good. Nobody's hurt, and so
It was no fault, no citations.
No
Yep.
citations. It was because
Kind of a
couldn't
free-
determine who,
Yeah.
So, but like I say, so I got the truck over to CNC to get an estimate on the mirror and the back window, and so I'll keep you informed on that. I did get a quote from Houck Brothers for this furnace here in the oldest furnace left in here in the council room, and I'm just waiting on Mike to get his quote from them for their furnace down that way too. So.
Yeah, that was part of I think it was one that was left over from the original building that they ended up putting here. So it's got several years on it, and we've kind of nursed it along here the last couple. It's needed.
Last couple of years we've been
putting
Freon in it, and they
whatever it's got. Yeah,
there's
So,
getting that style of Freon. That number is hard to come by anymore. So
right.
So yeah, so I got a quote here. So just waiting to see what we want to do with that. Other than that, I will be out on Monday. So
Questions for our administrator,
I have one question.
Mrs.
When
Sweet?
when is the road going to be closed for the Apple Butter Festival? Have you been given a time for
they
that?
will. Let's see. The barriers get delivered Friday morning, and Todd Pettit's going to unload those and set those in place. So
So
it'll be.
whenever
Yep.
he gets around to
Yep.
it. Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Thanks, Kevin.
welcome.
Appreciate the report. Chief, you're over here now.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, council, and
Good
residents.
evening.
I just passed around, Mr. Avery just passed, I get an estimate there. We've got the cameras down there at the Enon Park on Enon Road. Had to pull some wire up, basically redoing it all. This is an estimate for a new system. It's got quite a bit of features, and it'll link into any future stuff that we have. In front of you there, you have the price. It's the $9,521.60. I think trying to run new wire or something with the existing and doing that was a few hundred more, if I remember right, Kevin. But this would be an upgrade, and we just would need council approval to fix it. Either way, those things have to be undone because of the cable. So this is just a new, latest and greatest update on things. So.
And it's expandable for
Yes.
the new park that's coming down the road. I mean, this system will be expandable to add cameras back in that area too, so.
Yeah, the expansion's available and the features are significant. So there's a very good price there from Infinite Protection up there. They cut us a discount on the secondary one. So
One of the things that we looked at, and I really asked the staff to figure out a better way besides physically running a cable between everything. And we had seen a couple other options. And then, Mike, you mentioned this particular system. We didn't know whether it was going to be a good fit. They came out, it's going to be an excellent fit for about the same price
yes,
as what the other would have been to remove that cable, put a new cable in. But the part that really sold me on this was the expandability that we can put additional
Correct.
cameras onto the new property at some point in time, and it can fit right into this system, correct?
that is correct. Yeah,
And
it's
I
all
think
on a
that's
secure
huge.
network. Yep. So
And that's without running wires in the ground and all that. So
Correct.
I appreciate the work you guys did on this, but it does require council approval.
I'll move that we go with the quote from Infinite Protection.
I'll second.
And call the roll, please.
I'm sorry, who's the vendor?
Infinite Protection.
yeah, we'll get you one of there. Sorry about that.
Mr. Babcock,
Yes.
Ms. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
Thank you. On October 28th, I'll shoot an email out, but as every quarter, the Enon Police Department works with the DEA, with the National RX Take Back. This one will be Saturday, October 28th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that will be up there at the front where we have our typical drug take back drop box. That's normally accessible Monday through Friday during normal business hours. This will be a special event on the Saturday for the 4-hour block, and then at a short later event after that at an undisclosed location, we will get with the DEA and they dispose of all that for free for us for participating in this, which we've participated in years. But I just want to remind the community that that's October 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, please no sharps, no liquids, and then the instructions are on the box there. But I appreciate the cooperation when they don't put that stuff in there because it makes it complicated for us to get rid of, because even the DEA doesn't want that. Sunday, we have the Apple Butter Festival this weekend, but on Sunday morning at 9 a.m., they'll have the 5K run, which will start at the Green End School. We'll come up through the village, down Green Vista, around the mound, and then back out. Takes about as long as it takes the slowest person to run a 5K. And just ask the community.
You look at me when you said that.
I'm sorry. It takes about as long as it takes. No. We'll have officers on it. I know the fire and EMS will be assisting, but just ask residents and people coming through that they just be attentive to those people participating in that 5K run, and because we try to get them through so they don't have to stop running. But
Good.
We'll have that going, and then I'm not running in it. No. I like watching. That was it. That's all I have for you.
Thanks, Chief, for your report. Questions for our chief? Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Any committee reports? Old business? New business? We have no executive session. Comments from our public? We have public tonight. Comments? Barb?
I have a question.
Come on up to the podium. Yeah, you got to come on up. We're a very friendly bunch.
Oh, I know.
Come on, Barb, you can do it.
I'd just like to know the process, if someone's in violation of a city or village ordinance, what the process is. for how you guys handle that. And I'd like to understand, I've been doing a search online of other villages, and it's very easy to find their ordinances for property maintenance, and ours are difficult to find. I went through everything, and I went through the library where everything's posted, and I couldn't find the basic rules of the village. So I'd like somebody to tell me where I find those, and then if somebody could describe the process to me. I understand a letter is usually given first, and people are given so many days.
Yes.
But I'd like to understand the process after that. What happens after that? And then to let you know that it looks like we're going to try in Houck Meadows to resurrect our covenants and get some things in place so that we can take legal action if the village isn't successful.
So what I'll do is I'll put you in contact with Kevin, and he can lay out the process. And that's a great question, because there is a due process that everybody has a right to.
Right.
Plat covenants are typically more restrictive than what village or city codes are. But if you don't have an active...
Yeah, ours have expired in Houck
So,
Meadows.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. That process, Kevin can explain it to you, and ultimately a person can end up in mayor's court.
Yeah, I left Kevin a message. I haven't heard back, but the process isn't just something you guys know off the top of your head. Like a letter's issued, they're given so much time. How many times until the county gets involved? I guess would be an interesting thing to know. Are they issued letters multiple times and then it's turned over to the county to handle, or?
So if it's an actual village code, depending on what it is, the village would, let's say, receive a complaint. Kevin would go out and, let's say, look at a particular property. If it fits a category of a violation, then typically a notice is sent, correct? Mm-hmm. And if there
We don't
is...
hand give it to them, we send it to them. So is it sent registered mail, or how is it? Is sent
Certified.
registered? Certified, okay.
So
Right.
if let's say a particular owner is not in compliance or doesn't get back, and I can't say that every situation is alike, right? Because sometimes people are making progress, and it's like, oh, okay, you're making
yeah.
progress, so you allow them to do that. If somebody ultimately doesn't comply after what we feel is a reasonable attempt, or giving them enough time to bring a property into compliance, then they could receive a citation in the mayor's court.
Okay, and they
And
get
then-
it one time? I mean, people might be willing to pay a citation one time. Does the process have to start again with another complaint?
So what we did years ago, because we had that occur once back when I was the administrator, and we actually changed part of that code that on, and I don't know, Barb, whether it's all of them, but on some of them, if it's like a second offense within a certain period of time, then the penalty is increased.
Okay.
So the incentive is for the person to get in compliance and to stay in compliance.
Okay.
Because if you have to come back in, it might cost you more, and I don't remember the specifics, but we do have something in place for that.
Okay. Yeah, and we don't want to upset neighbors. We're trying to keep enough peace in our neighborhood if we can.
Right,
But on
right.
the other hand, we don't want things, especially if they're a safety issue, any health or safety issue, we want that to be addressed.
And we rely on residents to inform us if they see something. Typically, the staff will go around approximately once a week, maybe once every other week. We don't go onto folks' property. We won't get out of the vehicle and literally go up. So if you are aware of something that may not be visible from staff, you can always call in and say, hey, could you take a look at this property, or
drone pictures, probably.
a drone
right?
picture,
Yeah,
whatever the
okay.
case is. But again, keep in mind that typically the plat covenants are more restrictive than what municipalities have as far as the ordinances
Right.
that
So,
they have.
under our ordinances for the village, I've always been told that in neighborhoods in the village, you weren't allowed to have livestock. You're not allowed to have cars parked in the grass. But I honestly could not find them last night after 2 hours of looking online. I searched Village
Sure.
of Enon ordinances, And I could find Oakwoods within 5 minutes. I could find Springboroughs. I cannot find ours under property maintenance. Now, I found a little bit on concrete. You have to have a concrete slab at a certain size, but that was it. But I didn't see anything on livestock or anything on, and maybe it's not an ordinance we have. Anybody aware of if it is or
Well,
not?
we
Okay.
have no ordinance against parking on the grass.
Okay,
So that is one ordinance
Okay.
the village does not have.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Long term, but discarded cars that aren't licensed, are they allowed to be in the grass?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
If
can
a
be?
vehicle is
Okay.
inoperative, it's inoperative, and that's one of the
Okay.
classifications.
Wow,
So,
okay.
yep. It doesn't matter whether
Okay.
it's parked in the grass or in the driveway. Now, if it's parked inside of a building, then they would be okay. If it's not visible
But if they're parked in their yard, in the grass,
and it's
not
got expired
licensed,
tags, yes.
that's a problem.
That's a
Okay,
problem.
Okay,
But I encourage you to get with Kevin, and Kevin can show you where, if you type in Enon codified ordinances, all of those should pop up for you. Okay.
they
Well,
do,
Kevin, can
but
you-
they're under different type categories than most villages, so it's really hard to kind of
Okay.
find. But I found that you can't have a stillborn baby in your house, which that's good. So anyway,
Okay.
I'll do some more research and I'll get with Kevin.
Okay.
And we'll find out. And I guess we'll probably have to come back to you guys if Houck Meadows is successful in getting our covenants resurrected. I think the original ones say that the village helped with enforcement. And then if that didn't work, then, legal action was taken for the covenants. But we hope it doesn't come to that. We're
Right.
reasonable people, but, things are snowballing. And, we're seeing it. And I would think the village would care because we've got to be one of the biggest tax property sources for you. Houck Meadows, right, would be for the village.
Yes.
Especially since Echo Hills isn't part of the village, I don't think.
Right.
And I think we have Willow Hills, but it's not as big. We have so many houses in Houck Meadows. So we want to keep our property values up. And
Absolutely.
Try to do that. So we don't want to alienate new people or have problems with neighbors, but we don't want things to, especially when there are health and safety issues involved. So, all right. Anyway, well, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address council?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to
I'll
adjourn. We need a
second.
second. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
6:50.
Thank you for coming.
Who made the motion? I know
Jeremy.
was it
Jeremy